Starting us off with number 10 are the missing ones. So there have been many conspiracy theories and real stories where the CIA has assassinated people, they've planned to kill people, they've made people go missing if they know too much. And I know the first thing that comes to mind when you think about these missing people is that they were obviously killed. I mean, if they're gonna go to the effort of making someone vanish off the face of the earth, then surely they'd just kill them. But what if they didn't? What if they transported them to a secret underground base at Area 51? We already know there are quite a few underground facilities at Area 51, so why can't a prisoner holding base be one of them? If you're locked up or trapped in Area 51, you're as good as dead according to the CIA anyway, since no one will ever know you're there or be able to find you or save you. It's the perfect non-violent solution where everyone wins, except of course the people locked up in Area 51. Sorry about that. Coming in at number 9, we have alien scientists. So I feel like with the amount of government cover-ups over different plane and military craft crashes and their remains, I definitely believe Area 51 houses aliens, and not just the dead remains of all the ones for observation. I'm talking proper communicative aliens that are helping human scientists. This may be far-fetched, but considering people think a one world government operates at Area 51, that government would need a lot of alien tech for whatever their future plans of world domination are. So with that in mind, I think from these alien spacecraft crashes in the past, living aliens were saved from them, and now they're here working for the US government, either voluntarily or involuntarily. And they probably have Einstein level knowledge and then some, so I hope they're the first people we saved when we went in there. I don't know. I haven't checked yet. But you probably would have by the time this goes up, so let me know. At number 8, we have the getaway sources. So say the whole world is going to right now. Say there's been like a zombie apocalypse or something more realistic like climate change, tipping point, or a food shortage or a disease epidemic or something, or a 2012 scenario where like the earth is literally breaking apart. People need to run, they need to survive, and in this scenario, forget us mere citizens, they're not worried about us. The people that they'd want saved are the leaders, the president, the very rich, and the people with power. And like in the movie 2012, this top 1% had a secret base in China where they would be safe from everything. Similarly, I think the same sort of thing is located in Area 51 in the form of getaway flying saucers. Think about it. The only way to save yourself from this planet, from the horrors of it, is just to simply leave the planet. And what better way to do that than on highly advanced spacecraft with aliens or extraterrestrials you've been making this plan and deal with for the past century. It's like the perfect escape. Us peasants just get to die on Earth and Trump's out here making planet Ploot great again. Filling our number 7 slot are the bodies. So we've heard of the BBC crew that got into the base and were basically pointed at with guns and forced to stay on the floor for hours. There are signs all around and leading up to the base saying you'll get shot if you try and trespass onto the base, but of course in kinder words because they can't just outright say we'll shoot you. I suspect there have been many people that have managed to make it into the base, and some were definitely shot, and that wasn't publicized because it makes the government look bad. Some probably did make it somehow but were hiding on the ground under some major camouflage, and I suspect they were either found out and then killed, stayed hiding there because hiding there was still better than trying to leave, getting spotted, and then getting shot. All in all, I suspect there are quite a few skeletal remains to be found in Area 51. I feel like the families of those people are still like, where did they go? They went to get groceries and they never returned. Now at number 6 are alien offspring. I feel like any alien still at Area 51 right now is either dead and there for observation, or working there involuntarily or locked up. Honestly, let's be real, none of them actually want to be there when they could be at home with their families on planet Glip. Like, let's be real. So with that being said, I'm sure there have been many escape plans executed by them, maybe some even self-sacrifice, not wanting to tell the evil humans their secrets, or because they simply couldn't take being on Earth anymore. So to combat that and ensure the longevity of the alien link, I really believe the heads in charge definitely got them to reproduce and cloned those eggs or fetuses so they'd have a whole armory of aliens if the existing ones successfully left, or whatever the hell escaped, died, blew up, self-detonated, I don't really know. Coming in at number 5 are star-crossed lovers. I feel like this has to happen without fail when two people or entities from totally different upbringings and backgrounds meet and hate each other at first and then they fall in love. In this case, I'm talking about an alien and one of the Area 51 workers. So as I previously mentioned, there are most likely aliens living at Area 51 who can communicate with us, so I feel like one of the workers, if not more, who interact with them daily have probably fallen in love with one. You know how it goes, it would have started off like, what the hell are you, and vice versa. Then it would have been like, okay, let me just quickly do my job and then leave. Then it would have moved on to things like telling each other bits and pieces about their own lives. Then in a moment of laughter, one of them realizes, wait, I'm head over heels in love with them. And then comes the confession of love, then the no, we're too different, it'll never work, the CIA won't let you be with me, and my parents on planet Yip Jew will never allow this. And then they get over it and have a secret romance until one of them has to kill the other, Hunger Games style. And if you weren't just sucked into that love story so hard, then you're definitely lying. At number 4 are dinosaurs. Hear me out, I know you're gonna think I'm ridiculous, but I'm not. Maybe a little bit. So there is no proof that says aliens came after us. If anything, we've seen signs in cave drawings from God knows what BC indicating that alien sightings have been occurring for a long time. So who's to say they weren't around during the Cretaceous period and prior? What if they were flying in and out of Earth during the period dinosaurs roamed the Earth? It's not like dinosaurs could record that aliens were visiting, and even if they did, somehow they were wiped out anyway, so there's that. But what if aliens found them interesting? What if they're like, ooh, what is that? What if they stole and preserved some eggs here and there like Jurassic Park? If they were smart, honestly, if it was me, I would have gotten one of each gender for each species of dinosaur, and if they did, who's to say they weren't forced to share that at Area 51 after being captured from a crash? Or what if they wanted to share the knowledge? Pretty sure dinosaurs have a better chance of surviving on Earth where there's oxygen than on planet Zeus where there's none. It could be the Alien-Human Dino Alliance, ADA for short. Filling our number 3 slot are clones. Okay, so there's a huge debate about whether cloning is ethical or not. I mean, honestly, yes, it is weird. It's creepy to have someone or something that looks exactly the same as something else, yet their personalities are completely different. It's strange, I get it. We've successfully cloned animals throughout history, but humans is something we've never done. Most countries in the world actually ban cloning anyway, so there's that, but there's a bunch of states in the US that don't specifically ban cloning, but ban reproductive cloning. So if human technology can achieve it, maybe alien technology can and has. What if there are clones just walking around Area 51 and we have no idea about it? What if they've cloned prime ministers and other world leaders to make it easier to make appearances when really the real Theresa May is on planet Clintob? What if? What if they're in there cloning humans and aliens? There are just so many what ifs. Am I a clone? Who knows? Now at number 2 are the cures. So again, this one is problematic to talk about, but somebody's gotta do it. That someone's gonna be me. Many people believe that the government injects diseases into the public, which creates an epidemic. Many thought that of the Ebola outbreak in Africa a few years ago as well. Some think the government is behind it to control population numbers, whereas others think they do it to distract from a bigger story going on underneath. Whichever story you want to believe, if the government created the disease, they also created the cure to it, and I believe those cures are stored in Area 51. And I even believe they have the cure to other things like AIDS and cancer in there as well. You know how they say the pharmaceutical industry makes the most money because they keep you sick? If you weren't sick, they wouldn't be making money, so they don't even want a cure to be found. But what if it's already been found? They're just not releasing it so the economy can gain more money for all these people that do have these illnesses. Sadistic, and it's all there in Area 51. I hope when you guys read it, you found it. And finally, at number 1 is Osama bin Laden. Very controversial, I know, and of course I don't mean any disrespect by putting him on the list, but again, I'm not gonna pussyfoot around any topic on this channel. So the news broke in May of 2011 that bin Laden had been found in a compound and killed by a CIA-led operation. That's all we know, that's all we got told. And I've been hearing about this conspiracy for years now that he actually wasn't killed. Like, did we ever see his dead body? No, we didn't. They said they identified his body many ways, by his height. Well, many people out there are 6'4". Apparently one of his wives was shouting his name during the raid, and again that could have just been a body double and someone paying an impoverished woman to just shout a name. It's not that hard. His burial took place at sea and it wasn't documented. According to a US official, there are pictures of his body and the burial, but where they at though? So no one other than the people involved saw his apparent assassination and burial, so people believe that, well, 1, they didn't actually kill him, 2, they killed a lookalike because that could be possible, it's happened in the past, or 3, he's being hidden in Area 51 till his death. So, I mean, there's some food for thought.
Starting off this countdown, we have the secret entrances. Just last year, a man claimed to have found 3 hidden entrances that lead to Area 51. He discovered this after using Google Earth. He compared images of the base from different time periods. In one particular area in 1998, there seems to be no roads or entrance. Satellite pictures of that same location in 2005, 2010, and 2013 show a road and a dead end with what looks like an entrance and tunnel carved into a mountain. In fact, at the dead end, there appears to be cars parked there. Seems unusual for people to just park there, because what is around for them to do? Wander the barren plain alone? No, they're parking their cars there and then entering Area 51 through this secret entrance. In our 9th spot, we have the alien craft. What I'm about to show you is a leaked video and some photos from Area 51 of an alien spacecraft test. The video features a flying object hovering in the sky and moving in ways that other crafts definitely don't do. This was recorded on May 15, 2017, and then was leaked years later. If this isn't actually a UFO, then what could it be? That's what's baffling people. The way it just moves up and down and side to side that quickly is very strange, especially because of its size. What do you think though? Is this proof that Area 51 has gotten their hands on an alien spacecraft? Moving on to number 8, we have the transportation of a UFO. When this next photo was leaked online, it was met with a number of conspiracy theories. So this is the image of the CIA transporting a large part for one of their top secret projects. In fact, when this was getting transported, the CIA sealed off the entire highway. And I'm sure you can see why this was met with a number of conspiracy theories. Like, look at the shape of the thing that they're transporting. That is definitely a UFO or part of a UFO spaceship. Now, this is where it gets even more interesting. Somehow, a group of bikers made it onto the road. When they were stopped by some soldiers, they asked what they were transporting, and the soldier said they found a UFO up in the mountains. Now apparently he said this jokingly, but who knows? In our 7th spot, we have the Tic Tac UFO. Last year, another UFO was spotted near Area 51. This one was given the name the Tic Tac UFO because of its tic tac shape and white or bright appearance. So this spacecraft was caught on footage by a person driving along near Area 51. He was driving along the Extraterrestrial Highway. That's the name given to the highway in Nevada, as a number of UFOs have been seen by drivers while on this route. At first, the driver thought that what he was seeing was just a cloud. When he got closer to it, he realized that it was definitely a craft of some kind. Later on, alien hunter Scott Waring confirmed that the UFO was in fact alien in origin. Also, the area in which he was driving through had a number of wind farms in the area. Turns out that in the past, a lot of UFOs have been spotted around wind farms, and one UFO even crashed into a windmill many years back. Some say this is because aliens are fascinated with human technology. In our 6th spot, we have Stephen Barron. In 2016, UFO hunter Steve Barron captured video and photographic evidence of another alien spacecraft close to Area 51. These were taken near his home in Las Vegas, Nevada, an hour drive from Area 51. Using a night vision camera, Steve head out to Red Rock Canyon to try and capture a UFO. The first couple of hours, there was nothing. Then he saw mysterious weird flashing lights appear over a mountain. He said this in regards to the UFO and its lights, and I quote, "First one, then two, then more and more. They put on a spectacular show. I am glad I was patient because the show they put on kept getting better and better." We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with the CIA spy plane. In 2011, Los Angeles Times journalist Annie Jacobson published a book called Area 51, an uncensored history of America's top secret military base. In the book, she included a number of never-before-seen photos of the base. The first one I want to show you is of a CIA spy plane. This photo shows an A-12 ox cart hidden behind a barrier at Area 51. This was a top secret plane that was created to reach high speeds and altitudes. During the first 3 years of testing this plane, everything was kept top secret. In fact, the pilots weren't even allowed to tell their wives what they were working on. On May 24, 1963, during a test flight, the plane crashed. The pilot, Ken Collins, was fine but had to eject himself out of the plane. But afterwards, the CIA actually injected him with sodium pentothal, aka truth serum, to then interrogate him after the crash. That's crazy. In our 4th spot, we have the rare photo. So this photo was also featured in Annie Jacobsen's book Area 51, An Uncensored History of America's Top Secret Military Base. In fact, this is a very rare photo that has never been published before. It was published for the first time in Annie's book, and that's it. This photo is an aerial view of Area 51 taken in 1964. I don't know why it was kept a secret for so long or how Annie got her hands on it, but she did and decided to share it with the world. Moving on at number 3, we have the early U-2 spy planes. In the early 1950s, at the peak of the Cold War, the CIA began to develop planes that they wanted to reach an altitude of 70,000 feet to avoid detection against Soviet radar. This gave birth to the U-2 spy planes that you see here in this picture. This photo was taken in Area 51 in 1956, and pictures of workers standing on the plane's wing. Sadly, at least 3 pilots lost their lives during test flights, including 2 at Area 51 and 1 at an Air Force base in Germany. Coming in at number 2, we have Boyd Bushman. Shortly before his death, former Area 51 engineer Boyd Bushman revealed that he encountered aliens while working at Area 51. In a video, Bushman shows a number of mysterious photos to the camera, including one of an alien and a number of photos of the alien's appendages.
We have a total of at least 18 that exist and operate with our facility.
Now, many people believe that this man is telling the truth. Why? Because he had nothing to gain or lose by sharing his story. Plus, an interrogator with the police studied Boyd's movements and speech pattern during this interview, and he said that it appears as if he's telling the truth. In the interview, he said that Area 51 has at least 18 of these aliens in their facility. He also claims that there are 2 groups of aliens. One group are called the Wranglers, the others are called the Rustlers. The aliens that are considered Wranglers are friendly and have a better relationship with humans. Rustlers, however, have been known to steal cattle. This is all insane. And in our number 1 spot today, we have Boyd Bushman and the UFO. During his interview, Boyd Bushman also revealed photos of real UFO spacecrafts that he saw while working at Area 51.
Up close and personal, this is a UFO which is ready to take off.
So that's a close-up photo of a UFO spacecraft taking off. Then he also showed a different photo of a UFO spacecraft with its lights turned off.
Coming into number 10, we have Up Close and Personal with Area 51. In September 2017, YouTube channel UFO Seekers did just that. They sought UFOs. What did they find? Well, you will see. Tim Lee and Tracy Doyle hiked up Tickaboo Peak, a 1.4 mile high mountain 25 miles opposite the military base. The duo used telescopic lenses to get the clearest possible photos of the secret base ever taken from outside by just a civilian. Although you can't see little aliens running around or anything, there are plenty of vehicles to be seen, plus an expansive building and water towers. It isn't too scary, but the video is super interesting, how they got there and everything, and actually it's quite tense. Had they been caught by authorities taking long lens images, then they really could have been in trouble. The video is 18 minutes long, but here is a clip of the YouTubers finding the base. The video has had over 2.4 million views. Perhaps the Kyles are watching it to swat up for their attack planned on the 20th of September. Kyles. Coming in at number 9, we have even closer, if you can imagine it. This is one of the closest ever images taken of Area 51. It was taken from a light aircraft and is in the Nevada Aerospace Hall of Fame right now. Here we can see a much closer overview of the whole compound, something that would have been classified just a few years ago. Coming into number 8, we have the airstrip. In 2013, some documents about Area 51 were declassified, although many criticized the response to the Freedom of Information request to having been underwhelming, featuring heavily redacted information. Nonetheless, in 2016, the US did permit Google Earth to photograph the area, which had previously been a no-fly zone. Now you too can view the facility from a bird's eye view. You can check it out and see what's going on, although from very high in the sky. From browsing Google, around 12 miles north of Area 51, there seems to be an unexplained airstrip coming in at around 1 mile long. There is also a visible cluster of buildings at the end of the strip, which is kind of baffling. We've got no idea what's being tested here. According to intel from the website Live Science though, it is thought that the space could be used to test reconnaissance drones. Coming into number 7, we have the Paradise trailers. Area 51 used to be colloquially known as Paradise Ranch in order to make it sound more appealing to families of workers. I suppose it's a lot to ask a person to relocate to the middle of the desert, so why not rebrand the place Paradise and make it sound more appealing? An image has been released of the Paradise era showing a number of trailers at the facility. Is this where families lived, or was it home to aliens? It's kinda cool seeing how things used to be in its heyday, assuming its heyday's over. We just don't know. Alright, coming into number 6, this is the big one. It is the alien autopsy. The alien autopsy was reportedly shot in Area 51 and depicts the aliens that were transported to the facility from Roswell after the 1947 crash. The crash was said to have been of a flying disc UFO and was said to have contained wounded aliens. The video was released in 1995 by Ray Santilli, who said that the footage had been supplied to him by a former military camera technician who wanted to remain anonymous, obviously. Let's have a little look at the footage, shall we? I mean, that is a dead alien right there, right? But like, is it? The footage absolutely blew up in 1995, but people were quick to call it a fraud. In the end, Santilli claimed that yeah, only part of the footage was real. He said that only a few frames from the original footage were there, but they were there. He also said the rest had been replicated and was a reconstruction of footage he had but was damaged. Sounds likely. Coming into number 5, we have the Roswell rescue. Footage claiming to be from the Roswell fallout surfaced on the internet in 2015 and alleges to show agents holding alien corpses and taking them on a stretcher. Have a little look. I don't know, it kind of looks a bit sketchy, right? Can we get another look? I guess it was 1947, so we can't expect too much film-wise, but I'm not sure this is quite the smoking gun we were looking for. The video has had around 160,000 views on YouTube, but the like to dislike ratio suggests that some people may not be too convinced as to its authenticity. One of my favourite comments on the video comes from Mr. Saturday Night Special, who wrote, "This has to be real. Everyone knows when you travel across the universe you don't wear clothes, just ask Chewbacca. He'll tell you." You're right! You know what, are we the only species that like to cover our modesty? Or are these aliens crashing? Like, where are their little alien suits? Come on. Coming into number 4, we have Kodak confirms, allegedly anyway. In 2014, a UFO expert, Tom Carey, was sent images from a woman who wished to remain anonymous, but claimed that she had worked with the Secret Service. The image was reportedly taken at Area 51 following the Roswell crash and seems to show a bug-like alien. Let's have a look, shall we? The image seems to support what a number of people who used to work at the Area 51 have said about the facility, including Robert Lazar and staff members from the esteemed Lockheed Martin firm. But like, seriously, come on, is this an actual image of an alien? Can we trust anything in the age of Photoshop? It seems that Carey thought of that and sent the image to Kodak themselves, who were able to confirm that it was taken in 1947. Again, allegedly. If they sent him a letter saying this, then I haven't seen it. When speaking to the press, Carey said, "What's interesting is that the film is dated in 1947. We took it to the official historian of Kodak up in Rochester, New York, and he did his due diligence on it, and he said that yes, this film strip and the slides are from 1947. It's 1947 stock. From the emulsion on the image, it's not something like's been photoshopped today. If Kodak did call this authentic, I haven't seen any certification." Coming into number 3, we have another alien, of course. In 2012, Chicago videographer Adam Dew received a call from his former business partner Joseph Beeson. He claimed that he had something to show him, and boy did he. Beeson had a private disposal unit sister, and she'd come across a box of photographs that seemed to have been taken by someone close to President Eisenhower. He was in a number of the images himself, as were Bing Crosby and Clark Gable. 2 2 of the images she had been tasked with disposing were absolutely outrageous. Get a load of them for yourself. That's right, it is a small withered brown body of an alien in a glass case. And this was all among the images of the president, which is pretty crazy. The images were found in the garage of a woman named Hilda Blair Ray near Sedona in Arizona. Now the pair did believe that the images were linked to Area 51 and Roswell. They sent the images to none other than Tom Carey. Tom once again believed that the images looked just like what witnesses had described in the Roswell crash. Let's have another look, shall we? It really does kind of look like an alien wrapped in some kind of cloth, but unfortunately for Tom Carey, the image turned out to be of a mummified corpse of an Aztec child and not a secret leak from Area 51. Our final 2, I have to say, are pretty convincing. It's not alien stuff, but I do think that these are secret pictures from Area 51. Coming into number 2, we have the strange plane. Here's an image of something that looks like a strange aircraft, or something reportedly taken at Area 51 anyway. It is known that the United States Air Force is present at the facility, and several spy planes have been developed there, including the U-2 spy plane and the SR-71 Blackbird, and possibly others like the rumored Aurora project. So, what is the plane in this image? I don't actually know. Could it be one of the alien aircraft that allegedly whistleblower Bob Lazar talked about reverse engineering? Or is it another spy plane? Finally, coming into number 1, we have an image of a secret plane crash covered up. It seems an A-12 spy plane, possibly the one pictured above, crashed in 1963 after taking off from the secret airbase. The crash happened in Wendover, Utah when Area 51 pilot Ken Colmer was testing the plane's subsonic engines at low altitude. The pilot ejected from the plane crash, after which he was subjected to hypnosis and doping to make sure that he relayed the incident and how it occurred honestly and truthfully. Here are the previously classified images of the crash. Now, as you can see, vehicles raced to recover the wreckage, which was extremely sensitive to the United States Air Force. It seems a government sanitation team was deployed to remove all traces of the spy plane. To me, that sounds very, very strange. So too does it that they kept the images of this plane crash a secret for such a long time. Do you think it really was a spy plane that crashed, or, given the response, something much more sensitive?
Starting our list off at number 10, Dark History. This secret base in the Nevada desert acts as the US military hub for spatial engineering, and, possibly, hopefully, some reverse engineering for some alien crafts. The area is named after the geological grid of the desert. The area gained notoriety, of course, in the early 90s, with numerous claims that workers had worked on alien aircraft and even heard of harboring alien creatures underground. The entire premises is fenced off with signs saying no photography allowed, and also use of deadly force is authorized. So whatever they're hiding here, it's mostly military, hopefully with a little splash of ET. The base has been a testing facility for the Air Force and remains one of the most highly secured and secretive bases in America. Number 9. Tickaboo Peak. Say you're watching this video and you want something, right? What's the closest you can legally get to Area 51, right? What's the only way you can possibly see footage of a little alien ship coming and or going? Well, you gotta go to Tickaboo Peak, that's how. Located right in the middle of the Nevada desert, Area 51, of course, is hard to see. This peak could help that problem. Bob Lazar, back in 1989, he spoke out to news outlets explaining how he used to work in Area 51, specifically on UFOs using anti-gravity technology. With this peak being just 26 miles away from the top secret base, you might just see a test flight or two from the bushes. Just like Bob did, right? Number 8. They can't stop all of us. Back in the 1950s, the public wanted answers as well. It was June 17th, 1959. The Reno Evening Gazette published a story with a headline reading, "More flying objects seen in Clark sky." More? What'd I miss? More flying objects? Then the paper even went on to describe how Sergeant Wayne Anderson, a local sheriff, was one of many locals that spotted what the paper described as an object bright green in color and descending towards the earth at a speed too great to be an airplane. Yeah, like a meteor, I guess. I don't know, that's terrifying. What could they possibly be talking about? Number 7, the Gorman dogfight. This one is a classic. A lot of people believe this encounter. This encounter lasted a whopping 27 minutes in the air. A dogfight happened between a veteran World War II fighter pilot named George F. Gorman and a UFO. It was him versus a white orb, and they were both at an extremely high altitude above Fargo, North Dakota. Gorman told a local newspaper following the 1948 event, "The experienced pilot said, and I quote, 'If anyone else had reported such a thing, I would have thought they were crazy.'" Captain Ruppelt operated Project Blue Book, a series of studies conducted by the US Air Force between 1947 and 1969, and there's reports of the same dogfight from the ground as well. So yes, there are multiple eyewitnesses for this one. Number 6, Project Aquatone. So we think about aircraft evolution over the last, say, 100 years. Well, back in 1955, Area 51 was selected by the CIA as a testing site for the Lockheed U-2. And if you've seen Top Gun Maverick lately, good on you, great film, 10 out of 10. But if you've seen it, this will tickle your fancy. The Lockheed U-2 was this high altitude aircraft. It was the top of the line technology, and tests were originally conducted over the codename Project Aquatone. Now on June 25th, 2013, the CIA approved the release of declassified documents that details, for the first time officially, the history of the U-2 and Oxcart programs in response to a Freedom of Information Act request, just like we're seeing right now with these, UFO videos online. The release of those documents marked the first time that the US government actually acknowledged the existence of Area 51. And since then, we've been waiting around for another big announcement or something. Number 5, Virginia sighting. We have to look at some sightings to know what goes on in Area 51, right? If it's spacecrafts or whatever, we've got to look elsewhere for clues. 2 UFO sightings were reported to the National UFO Reporting Center in Virginia on April 4th, 2019, quite recent. At 6:48 a.m., an eyewitness claimed to have seen a light blue circular craft darting across the sky in Virginia Beach headed east. So already you're pumped, right? You're jazzed. Aliens confirmed, right? Then 7 minutes later, an eyewitness at the Norfolk Naval Station, 23 miles northwest, claimed to see what resembled a shooting star with a green glow that never faded. This object also moved without noise and disappeared just like that in 10 seconds. There were 2,348 UFO sightings reported throughout the state between 2001 and 2015. Number 4, Travis Walton, 1975. This horrifying abduction of a local Arizona forester, Travis Walton, take it with a grain of salt. On November 5th, 1975, Walton and a number of others from the logging crew, they were working with timber in the National Forest, and then while riding in a truck with 6 other of his co-workers, they allegedly encountered a flying saucer or a saucer-shaped object hovering about 100 feet away in the forest. It was also making a high-pitched buzz, so it was very, something was going on. Walton exited the truck and ran over curious, and then a beam of light appeared from the craft and blasted him unconscious. The other 6 men were terrified and they drove away before returning moments later in panic to a now vanished Travis. Walton claims that he woke up in a hospital room observed by 3 short, bald creatures, aliens. He fought with them until a more human-looking figure led them to another room where he then blacked out again. Walton claimed he remembers nothing else till he found himself awake yet again alongside a highway 5 days later, naked, clueless of what had just happened. Number 3, Rendlesham Forest, 1980. It was Boxing Day 1980. The forest lies between the military bases of Bentwaters and Woodbridge. Now at 3 a.m., 2 military personnel, John Burroughs and Jim Peniston, they both respond to bright lights in the forest. The radios also stopped working, which is not helpful at all in this case. There was a static feeling in the air as well, and an odd silence. Now the closer the men got, the more they realized it wasn't one of theirs. Peniston was drawn in and he actually touched the craft. It instantly electrocuted him and apparently downloaded him with odd symbols and star map into his brain before the craft eventually blasted off again. 24 hours later, the craft returned and Deputy Commander Charles Halt is now witness in the exact same spot. Only this time, there are now 3 large landing holes in the grass. Years later, Burroughs and Peniston still ask each other and the British government for their medical records from that night because they never received them. Almost 32 years later and still, they've never received anything. Number 2, O'Hare Airport. The O'Hare Airport incident happened at approximately 4:15 p.m. in broad daylight on November 7th, 2006. The airport received this report that a group of 12 airport employees were all witnessing the same thing. They were all witnessing a metallic saucer-shaped craft hovering still over gate C-17. It was just waiting there for something. The object was spotted by a ramp employee at first, and then it was witnessed by pilots, and then airline management, and then numerous mechanics simultaneously. Air traffic controllers didn't even see the object on radar either. That's the scary part. But in person sat a completely silent, 7-meter wide, dark gray saucer. Several witnesses outside of the airport also saw the object, calling local police and reporting it, of course, because they were terrified. Numerous phone-ins described a disc or a craft hovering above the airport as well for minutes without moving. So everybody saw this, not just airport officials. According to another witness, the object then shot straight up through the clouds at a high speed, leaving just a clear blue hole in the clouds. Number 1. Zimbabwe sighting. In 1996, a mass sighting was witnessed by an entire school in broad daylight in Zimbabwe. Yeah, more than 150 students and staff were all present at this point. There have been tons of documentaries surrounding this exact case. Face-to-face, arm's length with a craft, and also alien beings. Yeah, this is a whole cosmic visit apparently. The children, who are now mostly in their 30s and or 40s, are still convinced. They still stand by what they saw. More than 100 students can still remember what they claim to be telepathic warning from the creatures surrounding our use of technology and the hazards that it has on our planet. So that's cool. Director and writer James Fox documents this infamous interaction in his 2020 documentary, The Phenomenon. Area 51 could be housing UAPs or parts left over from interactions like this one in Zimbabwe back in 1996. Who knows?
Starting us off at number 10, we have the U-2 spy planes. I know, we just want to get to the alien stuff, but in order to get there, we need to go through the weird human stuff first. So, Area 51 is commonly a place of suspicion, with many thinking that there is proof of aliens and alien tech that lives there. But once the top secret area was finally recognized in 2013, it was released to the public that it is actually a top secret US Air Force base, where they test tons of new and not yet released aircrafts. One of those aircrafts being the U-2 spy plane. The U-2 spy plane was first created to keep an eye on the Soviet Union, as the US was worried about a nuclear threat. This plane is known to fly higher than 70,000 feet with a top speed of 805 miles per hour. The idea was that if this plane could soar so high up and at top speeds, it would be less noticeable than other spy planes at the time. It also didn't need to refuel until after 3,000 miles or so. Flight tests began at Area 51 on August 1st, 1955, after a short 8 months of construction. The project was known as Project Aquatone. Sounds like a skin treatment. The defense contractor Lockheed Martin built the first plane on a $22 million budget, which is about $207 million today. Even though this plane was crazy expensive, one was actually shot down over Soviet airspace in 1960. Both the pilot and the planes were retrieved, but forced the US to admit that they were spying. So what happened next? Well, the SR-71 Blackbird. That's right, coming in at our number 9 spot, we have the SR-71 Blackbird, the plane that was to make up for the US Air Force's previous failure. Pressure was on the Lockheed Martin team after the U-2 was shot down. They were to create an entire new plane that could not be shot down and fully operational in 20 months. In case you don't know this, that is an extremely difficult task. The Blackbird finally began testing on December 22nd, 1964, and it featured tons of new tech. Aircraft designer Kelly Johnson said everything had to be invented. Everything. It was known to many as the perfect spy plane. It could fly up to 80,000 feet high and also had a top speed of 2,100 miles per hour. That's a frickin' huge jump from the U-2. Many at the time believed that the remains of the Roswell crash in 1947 were actually being kept at Area 51, and don't worry, settle down, I'll get there. But because this was during the Cold War, the CIA actually encouraged the myth that aliens were flying around Area 51 so that the Soviets wouldn't know about their newest weaponized toy. But of course, that wasn't the last of their super cool high-tech toys. At number 8, we have the A-12 Oxcart. This was another plane that was in development at the same time as the Blackbird and was in the running to be the new recon spy plane, but the Blackbird won on that one. The other difference was that the A-12 Oxcart had a crew of 1 and it was operated by the CIA and not the US Air Force, who could fit a crew of 2 in the Blackbird. Later testing proved that the CIA Air Force didn't want to go through the development of this aircraft, so the A-12 slowly morphed into the Blackbird, and even the later plane known as the Interceptor YF-12. The Oxcart, however, was smaller than the Blackbird and faster and could reach higher altitudes, but it was still not the winner in this scenario. It could reach heights of up to 90,000 feet and a top speed of 2,208 miles per hour. These craft only operated from 1967 to 68, which is no wonder why most people forget about this one. Or maybe we were forced to forget about it. It's a conspiracy, man. At number 7, we have the M21 and D21 tag board. Originally known as the Q-12, this craft was originally intended to be expendable. The name was later changed to D21 tag board because it was carried on the back of the A-12 launch vehicle designated at M21. M stood for mother and D stood for daughter. Then the project was given the name tag board. The D21A was built with titanium and various radar absorbing plastic composites and looked like a stovepipe with a cone in its inlet. The D21 could fly up to speeds of 1,700 miles per hour at an altitude of 95,000 feet. It also had a 3,450 mile range before it needed to refuel. That's pretty impressive. The M21 was a 2-seat version of the A-12, but unfortunately these tag team drone planes had a bit of an accident. During a flight on July 30th, 1966, a D21 collided with an M21 on release, destroying both crafts. Both crewmen were able to be ejected in time, falling to the sea, but one of them tragically drowned after his pressure suit leaked. The D-21 drone was then later replaced by the KH-11 keyhole reconnaissance satellite. At number 6, we have everyone's favorite new toy, drones. Okay, I don't actually mean the US Air Force is testing all those tiny little remote controlled toys that we all buy online, but it is believed that the new hangar being built in the same place where the A-12 Oxcart was tested is actually home to a fleet of new unmanned drones that are just waiting to be taken for a test fly. Test drive? You know, it doesn't matter, you get the point. A quartet of modern hangars divided into 2 separate buildings measuring 90 feet wide are known to be the hangars number 20 to 23 and have been seen going through some pretty major upgrades. Upgrades for what? Probably these drones. These drones are known more professionally as unmanned combat air vehicles, UCAVs for short. Many theorize that the extension and building of this new hangar in the southern ramp area of the base will house large numbers of these craft, keeping them secret and covered up from overhead spies, inclement weather, and of course our friends above us, the aliens. Coming in at our halfway point at number 5, we have trespassing humans. This one should be an obvious one, because I'm sure we all remember the Storm Area 51, they can't stop all of us raid back in September of 2019, which definitely didn't go as planned. This was a Facebook event that over 2 million people responded to going, as well as 1.5 million responded with interested. Obviously, because of all the alien rumors, myths, and legends, just about every single day tourists can be seen trying to get as close as they possibly can to the top secret base. Although the closest people can get is to the gates, which are still miles away from the actual base. Clearly, at least 2 million people thought that if they all band together, then they could storm past the gate, run a few miles, and reach the ultimate destination of Area 51. Emphasis on thought, because on the actual day of the event, only about 150 people showed up and none of them got in. Shocker. I remember the day I came across this event and I laughed my butt off because this was before it made international headlines and I thought it was pretty cool. And I think I even actually responded as going because I thought it was just so freaking funny. But anyway, I never had any real intentions of going because of our number 4 spot. That's right, coming in at number 4, we have camo dudes. All over and around Area 51, you can see camo dudes guarding the gates, viewpoints, and other mildly unprotected entrance and vantage points. These scary and intimidating camo dudes ride around in pure white jeeps, making their presence known to any and all who dare to get close to the top secret base. At the 2 entrances of Area 51, huge and important signs can be seen stating that there is absolutely no trespassing, and if you have the inkling to do so, let it be known that these camo dudes have clearance to use lethal force. That's right, they will shoot at you, and what's the point in finding the answer to are we alone in the universe if you die immediately right after? Or even dying without getting the answer, that's even worse. These camo dudes have also been known to have the ability to listen in on whoever is near the gates, and when tourists ask themselves, hey, I wonder if they will wave to us, they immediately give back a nice little wave, confirming that you are being watched and listened to. So, tread carefully. Starting us off in our top 3 spot at number 3, we have UFOs. That's right, no duh. Due to all the top secret flight testing that they do in and around the top secret base, many have found secret little vantage points to camp out and see if they spy anything. With some luck, many have reported seeing UFOs and strange lights above the airbase at night, and many don't believe them to be human technology. Not only have there been reports of strange lights and UFOs above the base, but even in the state of Nevada, there have been countless eyewitnesses to strange things and objects in the sky. I mean, that only makes sense, as Nevada is home to the Extraterrestrial Highway, which of course was created due to all the alien lore surrounding the area. But many bars, restaurants, cafes, gift shops, all of those things all go along with the theme and also believe for themselves that aliens are indeed real and are indeed here. At number 2, we have spacecrafts. Actual alien spacecrafts. Oh my god! Back in 1942 in Roswell, New Mexico, a devastating crash apparently took place on the night of July 8th. The Roswell Army Airfield reported that they recovered a flying disc from the scene, only to retract their statements soon after, reporting that it was actually just a crashed weather balloon. Yeah, right. Since this incident, many have gone on record saying that the famous picture of Jesse A. Marcel posing with the weather balloon debris was indeed faked. That was what they were asked to report on after the top secret government officials confiscated the actual crash debris and were never seen of again. It is now popular belief that not only was the craft confiscated and brought into a top secret high government hands, there was also 3 human-shaped bodies. Notice the wording. Human-shaped, but not human. Due to all of its top secret mythos, many believe that once Area 51 was built in 1955, that's where all of the evidence from Roswell, New Mexico now rested. Of course, there's no way to prove it unless we get in there, and by the way, I also recently learned that there are even secrets and truths kept from the freaking president. So don't count on getting close to any of that info anytime soon. But wait, back up. Dewey, did you say 3 human-shaped bodies were recovered? Does that mean... Yup. Finally coming in at our number 1 spot, and the most shocking and obvious thing on our list is actual aliens! Back in 1995, footage of an alien autopsy supposedly at Area 51 was released thanks to London-based video entrepreneur Ray Santilli. This footage caused an international sensation and was shown on television networks all over the world. Santilli later in 2006 admitted that the film was a reconstruction, which, no duh. But do we really think the government and the Men in Black would really let the news channels all around the world show an alien autopsy? I don't think so. But that being said, Santilli said the footage was reconstructed, as in that there is actual footage of this autopsy, and whoever created this widely released tape was actually recreating an event that actually happened. To the best of my knowledge, there is no hard proof that this footage exists out there, but it wouldn't matter anyway, because most of it is supposedly lost. All I know is that 3 human-shaped bodies were recovered from Roswell, and that can mean a lot of things. Whether they're at Area 51 or not, I think they're here.
Remains of crashed UFO spacecrafts are stored at Area 51, and you know what, this brings us to number 10 on our list. We're starting off with this one. A lot of us will argue that this is more than just a theory. That's why people are so eager to storm Area 51. We want answers, and we want them now. For years, people have been speculating that the government is hiding the remains of UFOs in the area, and there are a ton of eyewitnesses that claimed to have seen the real-life UFOs like orbiting in this area. A retired Army colonel actually testified in court that he was given access to extraterrestrial materials gathered from an alien spacecraft that crashed in Roswell, New Mexico. What do you guys think? Area 51 is one of the most secure locations in the United States, and the government claims that the events at Area 51 are classified for purposes of national security, so it would actually make sense that they're hiding some extraterrestrial stuff in there. But this just makes me want to learn more about Area 51. And if we do a part 2 of this video, I want you guys to be a part of it. So you know what, in the comment section below of this video, make sure you guys tell me your theories about Area 51. What do you guys think is going on? I'm going to read your comments in part 2 if this video does well, and if you guys want it. Also, head over to Instagram at Lana Productions. Make sure you guys look for this picture right here, and comment, what do you guys think is in Area 51? What is the government hiding from us? Next up, number 9, autopsies are being done on aliens. This theory has been circulating around the world since the 90s, and it's for a good reason. A black and white movie that was 17 minutes long surfaced on the internet, and it showed a team of people in white biohazard suits cutting open and working on a dead alien corpse. I mean, I'm not kidding. This could be real. This footage aired in multiple countries around the world, but it was later revealed to be a fake. The creators admitted to faking the autopsy, but they claim it was to replace genuine footage that has been damaged. So I'll let you guys be the judge of that. Do you guys think that alien autopsy was done in Area 51? Maybe the time for an alien invasion is getting close, so scientists need to know how aliens function in order to defeat them. Honestly, I think this theory, it could be plausible, but I guess we'll find out once people raid Area 51. I mean, if there's live streams going on, I'm probably gonna be tuning in. I'm just way too curious not to. Aliens are being interrogated and tortured, and this theory brings us to number 8. I don't know why, but when I think about aliens being interrogated, I just picture them saying, "Take me to your leader." It's pretty lame, but in that case, I wonder if Donald Trump met any of these aliens. But according to a bunch of people, they believe that one of the Area 51's main functions is actually to serve as a prison for extraterrestrials. An Area 51 scientist named Bob Lazar said that he was being guided down a hallway at S4, and he remembers looking through a small window and seeing a small gray alien standing between 2 men dressed in white coats. But when he tried to get a better look, he pushed by a guard who told him to keep moving. Another worker in Area 51 said that he actually witnessed an alien interrogation where an officer tried to communicate telepathically to an alien pilot who had been shot down by the United States military. If aliens are actually being interrogated, I doubt they'll be telling us anything. They may not have the capability of feeling pain, so any interrogation techniques, it may not work on them. And now at number 7, the government might be attempting to reverse engineer UFOs. Bob Bob Lazar was a scientist that I just talked about. Well, he was hired to work as a researcher in S4, located in Area 51. S4 was a super secretive project. Lazar said that he would constantly see flying saucers being tested by the US military, and he actually took his friends out into the desert at night to watch them fly around. Is this guy telling the truth? He believes that the government was trying to reverse engineer the UFOs so that they can use the same technology for military purposes. Apparently the UFOs that they created were being fueled by a substance called element 115. The spacecraft had a super powerful gravity wave that basically made it indestructible. The moon landing was staged at Area 51, and this was actually a pretty popular theory, and this takes us to number 6 on our list. I know this topic has been highly debated for decades, and there's so much controversy surrounding the moon landing, so obviously I had to include this on this list. I'm so fascinated by the moon landing. I read all the books and a lot of the conspiracy theories. There's a lot of crazy people, but I don't know if I know what actually happened with the moon landing. If you asked me, I'm pretty sure it did happen. I'm talking about the moon landing. So before we talk about this, let me give you guys some background information on the moon landing and how a ton of people actually think it was just a hoax. Apparently scientists at NASA discovered in the late 1960s that it would be impossible to send astronauts to the moon because of the lethal radiation. But instead of potential embarrassing NASA and discrediting all of the work that they've done on the Apollo program, officials supposedly staged a moon landing hoax. People say that they actually launched a rocket, but once it was out of sight, the Apollo 11 crew secretly transferred to a military aircraft and were flown to a movie stage in Area 51. Obviously they couldn't go to a Hollywood studio because this hoax would be spread like wildfire, so it would make more sense that the moon landing was filmed in a remote, top secret military base that the general public doesn't have access to. Well, maybe until now. I mean, you can always have access to something. It's just like you're not allowed to go, but people might be storming in there pretty soon. And I don't know what's gonna happen. Is everyone gonna be shot? A massive underground facility exists under Area 51, and this theory comes in at number 5. This next theory is actually pretty insane. We all know that the government went through great lengths to keep the activities of Area 51 under lock and key, and no one really knows just how big this place is. There are so many theories that the base of Area 51 is just a facade. People are saying, you know, there's nothing really going on with these buildings. Well, why is it so heavily secured and so secretive? Why do we barely know anything about it? Well, there seems to be something happening beneath. Maybe the facility is massive. Apparently these buildings were designed so that an aircraft can slide underneath them and hide when a satellite is scheduled to pass over it. Others have said that there is a massive underground facility that has over 40 floors, hidden beneath the surface. And if this is true, it really makes you wonder what the heck is actually going on here and why do they need such a massive space? Maybe there are a ton of UFOs being stored here, or maybe there's a huge prison that is full of aliens who are plotting on how to take over the world. Let's move things right along, and at number 4, weather manipulation weapons are being tested there, apparently. There is a long belief that the government officials have been secretly trying to develop a weapon that can control the weather. I mean, that'd be pretty damn cool. You're going out camping one weekend, it's about to rain, you push a button, and there's rainbows and sunshine. Well, the governments, they might want the technology to control the weather. They want to be able to do whatever they want to the atmosphere so that they can use weather as a weapon. But this theory might have some truth behind it. According to the National Science Foundation report, the US military engaged in Project Cirrus, which was a research project in the 1940s. The scientists tried to find out a way to change the clouds and use rain as a weapon. And there was another project called Storm Fury, where scientists tried to use cloud seeding to slow hurricane winds. So obviously the government has been trying to control the weather for many years, but there have not been any successful stories that at least not that we know of. But who knows, maybe the scientists in Area 51 have mastered weather manipulation and they have access to one of the biggest weapons of destruction that human humankind has ever seen. And you know what? If the 1.2 or 1.3 million people, that's at the time of this recording, if they storm Area 51 and it's raining, yeah, they definitely have the technology. Now at number 3, Area 51 is the secret headquarters of a top secret world organization. Have you guys heard of Majestic 12? It's the name of an organization that was created by President Truman in order to manage UFOs and extraterrestrial investigations. Many people believe that this organization has gone as far as killing innocent people in order to keep this project under wraps. But things get a lot worse. After a suspected UFO crash near Roswell, New Mexico, Truman formed this organization and they somehow managed to make contact with aliens. Later on, President Eisenhower secured a meeting with the aliens. Apparently they made a deal which resulted in the United States getting access to extraterrestrial technology in exchange for turning a blind eye when aliens mutilated animals and abducted humans to conduct weird experiments on them. Have you guys ever googled, alien abduction stories? I have. And I'm pretty freaked out. I don't know if they're real or not, but how do so many people have such similar stories? It just makes you wonder. There are so many people who actually believe that they were abducted by aliens, and some of their stories are pretty damn convincing. I actually made a video on this list. I'll be sure to leave it in the description down below. I'm pretty sure I talked about people being abducted by aliens, like a top 10 on that. I mean, why wouldn't I have done it by now? Black helicopters are manufactured here, and this flies into number 2. For those of you guys who don't know, black helicopters, well, I didn't know either, I did the research. Well, black helicopters are supposedly used to go on super stealth missions where they spray toxic chemicals over suburban neighborhoods, or they abduct people and give them to aliens so that they can perform tests on. Well, now you guys know. If this is true, that means that elite forces and extraterrestrials could be working together, and maybe they're trying to form a secretive, world organization that could be used to control everyone and everything on Earth. I mean, I'm starting to sound like a crazy conspiracy theorist, but this list is honestly making me want to question everything. And as it turns out, a super stealth and inconspicuous aircraft could easily exist, because why not? I've witnessed Donald Trump become the president. Anything can happen. I mean, we definitely have the technology and we've seen it. The government is super secretive, and it seems like they'll go to any lengths to keep their secrets hidden. So let's see what lengths they go to stop over 1 million people from entering. I just hope no one gets hurt. I'm really hoping. And now at number 1, human-alien hybrids are being made at Area 51. If this is true, we are all screwed. And this is the end of the video. Okay, no, seriously, the men in black couldn't even save us. Even though the US government appears to control Area 51, it is argued that it is cooperatively controlled by extraterrestrials. In one theory, it suggests that people are saying that the US government and the aliens are working together in a laboratory to breed a race of human-alien hybrids. Alien meet humans. I don't know what that would look like, but no thank you. It's almost like we've learned nothing from the movies. Nothing ever good comes from mixing humans with another breed, and that's just facts. Not even my opinion at this point. Apparently the goal is to create a species that will be the future leader of the new world order. They will look exactly like us, but they will secretly possess extremely strong mental and physical abilities. Others think that the aliens have an ulterior motive. Apparently, these new human-alien hybrids are being controlled by them, and they're created as a way to supply organs to the aliens because they need to constantly replenish their organs in order to survive on Earth.
Coming in at number 10, we have the brothel. Legend has it that nearby the Mystery Nevada site, there is an alien-themed brothel. Now this is next to an Area 51 alien travel center and a themed diner. Dinner and snacks. Now it turns out that actually this is true, but what goes on in the brothel, well, that is the stuff of legends. I've been browsing the Yelp reviews and they are pretty fruity. One reads, "She showed us to the lounge and bar and then took us to the shower room. It was a large tiled room with multiple shower heads where she proceeded to say that they hold their wet and wild parties and orgies in there. It was so blasé for her to utter those things." Next up there was the alien probe room. There was a lot of weird weird stuff on the walls and displayed ever so lovingly on the bed. There were things like whips, probes, ropes, etc. Blimey, the alien probe room. One can only imagine, although I'd like to stop imagining now and move on to number 9. At number 9 we have Area 51 itself. It started off as an urban legend. For those of you who say that urban legends aren't true, Area 51 is one of modern America's most enduring urban legends, and it turns out that it's basically true. Sort of. Area 51 is actually a highly classified remote detachment of Edwards Air Force Base in Nevada. It's officially known as Restricted Area 4808 North. The CIA only confirmed the existence of Area 51 in 2013 when old documents were declassified by the Obama administration. President Obama himself joked about the base in 2013 at the Kennedy Center Honors event at the White House. He said, "I think I just became the first president to ever publicly mention Area 51." While the more tin hat conspiracy areas of the Area 51 legend haven't been officiated, the fact that the public were right about the spot in the first place is a bit of a green light to some of the things said about the space. While it may not have been a test center, current evidence points towards it likely having been a center for the testing of Black Project weapons and aircraft. Coming in at number 8 we have Independence Day. The United States military fell out with the creators of Independence Day, Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin. The legend has it they fell out over Area 51. It seems that the military were on board to supply the movie with costumes, planes and props, but they pulled their support when they discovered that Area 51 was mentioned in the movie's script. They warned the movie makers, asking them to remove the reference, but they did not. It seems that the United States government arm were very touchy about it. Coming in at number 7 we have the legend of the moon landing. The old moon landing was fake conspiracy. This is enduring. A lot of people think that the moon landing was filmed in a studio, and many of those think that that studio was in Area 51 in one of its many hangars. Why not? The location is top secret and it has top secret security, so I guess if anything was gonna happen under the radar, it should happen there. It makes more sense than filming it in Hollywood, which is basically a beacon of attention. Although of course I personally don't believe that the moon landings were faked, but if they were gonna be, why not fake them in Area 51? Coming in at number 6 we have the nuclear test site. Is Area 51 radioactive? It seems that the site has been pegged as a possible location for secret nuclear testing. A lot of people believe that the United States government carelessly tested nuclear weapons around Area 51, with some people claiming to have spotted them on Google Maps.
468 pounds. They buried it 635 feet underground, which is 194 meters underground.
Investigative journalist Annie Jacobson uncovered details of Project 57, which she said tested near Area 51 with a disastrously lax cleanup. She claims that alpha-emitting material, so nuclear waste, was buried in the ground, but then spread by earthworms who have polluted the Nevada soil with plutonium. Not good news. Others claim the fallout from the bomb test secretly poisoned the people of East Nevada and West Utah. Coming into number 5, employees swear lifelong oaths of silence. So we are mentioning on this list a few former employees of Area 51 who spoke out about the test center. Now one of those was most notably Bob Lazar, who fueled the alien fire. Lazar mentioned that he was sworn to secrecy. In 2013, a shocking video interview was published in which a very ill former Area 51 employee spoke about his time at the space. This is what he had to say.
In fact, I had to take a vow that I wouldn't tell anybody. A lot of it for 40 years.
In 2013, James Nose, an Area 51 veteran, spoke about his time working there too, claiming that he had to stay silent for 47 years, although Nose didn't mention any aliens, but perhaps not all employees came across them. Silence at Area 51 was very important, but was silence compliant? Coming into number 4, we have the alien prison. Is Area 51 an alien prison or an alien test center? Well, some people seem to think that actually it's both. Of course, pictures like this are pretty infamous and have been circulated since the Roswell incident. Purportedly they do show dead aliens at Area 51, but honestly, who knows? 2 former employees and self-confessed whistleblowers have provided shocking details about the alien life at Area 51. Now almost all of them refer to them as greys. Bob Lazar claimed to have been a scientist at Area 51, and he spoke to Annie Jacobson when she was researching for her book. He's reported to have said that he saw a small grey extraterrestrial being interrogated by men in white lab coats. Another whistleblower, Victor, sensationally appeared on the radio airwaves in 1997 to say that he had witnessed alien interrogation when he worked there. Again, our anonymous friend had something to say on the topic. Have a listen.
We could rock next to it, and you could rock it. The whole thing probably weighed.
Coming into number 3, we have genetically engineered children. Wild urban legends are floating around out there that Area 51 was a site for genetically engineering alien children. It seems that many thought that, yes, science experiments were being conducted on aliens, but beyond that, scientists were actually working to create genetically modified human-alien hybrids. Some even wilder theories say that a whole race of extraterrestrial human hybrids were actually living in communities in Area 51. What has happened to them since the height of the gossip in the 1950s and 60s? We just don't know. Coming into number 2, we have the Extraterrestrial Highway. The Extraterrestrial Highway is a real place. You can go there and take a picture with the sign, if you dare anyway. The road is officially Nevada State Route 375 and stretches by Area 51. It runs 98 miles from State Route 318 to Crystal Springs. The road has been given its name because of the many extraterrestrial sightings that have been made on that stretch of road over the years. Now, is it the road that aliens are drawn to, or are they spilling out from Area 51? Like I said, Area 51 is along the route, and reportedly there used to be a sign that said use of deadly force is authorized. Ooh. So even if the UFOs don't get you if you get too close to Area 51, then the US military might. Whether or not the sightings and legends are true, business is thriving along the route, with many alien-themed businesses like restaurants, diners, inns, and gift shops making a killing out of the extraterrestrial tourism. Finally, coming into number 1, we have the most enduring Area 51 urban legend of them all. We have the Roswell incidents and the UFO garage at number 1. You say garage, I say garage, and that's the difference between English and American people. Include that if you will. So what does our friend the anonymous former employee have to say? Let's have a listen, shall we?
And in these garage door openings, they had like different saucer crafts.
Oh, so garages filled with saucers. Well, that kind of cooperates with what Bob Lazar said and reiterates pre-existing urban legends that Area 51 is holding UFOs. But what else does he have to say?
The very first one had the Roswell craft in. It was kind of crashed up, but apparently every alien that was in it died except for a couple.
Right, Roswell. Well, that is the smoking gun, isn't it? So let's backtrack a moment. In 1947, something crashed into a ranch near Roswell in New Mexico. Reports vary on what that actually was, although the official line is that it was a United States Army air balloon. Reports vary on what that actually was, although the official line is that it was a United States Army balloon. The unofficial line was that it was an alien aircraft, and that very alien aircraft was taken to Area 51, the home of alien research and study. Makes sense. Now, millions of people simply didn't buy the air balloon story and believed that the United States military was indeed involved in a massive cover-up. So, the Roswell craft and its inhabitants were taken away to join other alien craft being studied at Area 51, with many people suggesting that actually the United States were trying to reverse engineer alien technology. What did the Roswell UFO look like? Let's hear it.
Well, the Roswell craft was really strange because it looked like real heavy aluminum foil.
So without the Roswell incident, I really don't believe that Area 51 urban legends would be as enduring as they are today.